It's NASA Rallycross time once again. After a week off, we wonder, can Alex Abedi top his first victory from 2 weeks ago? The German became the 38th driver in the championship history to be victorious after an incredible performance in Norway. The first victory is especially important as he leaves hell with the championship lead with the red number plate. Speaking of championship, we are closing out our European journey tonight, and we are also wondering if Josh Klog can claw his way back up the order. The defending champion has had two completely different races, one of anonymity and the other one of success, and he couldn't appear in the last race. Either way, we're going to be watching with excitement as we welcome you to the Overwatch specialty service NASA Rallycross Challenge on the Automotive Sports Network. And so far, I am by myself. My name is Josh Mertz here, bringing you the call. As always, as hopefully Philip Krause will join me. But if not, we're going to have a day and an evening of hanging out here on the Automotive Sports Network. I have a list of storylines that I was going to go over with Phil, but Phil's not here, so I'm going to take a look at our point standings while we don't have a graphic for that. We'll at least be able to take a look, as it looks as though we've got some people on track as well, and my sim is just broken. Not wanting to have some fun with us. Let's see if we can catch somebody here. Yes, there we go. As like I mentioned, would normally have Phil next to me here, but that is not to be today, as we are getting ready for this race here this evening. We're actually going to take a look at our format for today's race. The graphic did update. I was worried about that. So we have 16 cars here this evening. And according, hopefully the sim will split it right. We should have 4 heats of 4 cars apiece. Joker lap once, the top 2 will advance. We're going to have, I think, 1 semifinal. The top 2 will advance. Either way, we're going to have 10 cars for 10 laps and 2 jokers. To be honest, I'm not sure how the sim will split this, and I'll probably have to fix stuff later on, but it is what it is in iRacing. We know how that goes. Ambient temperature 67 degrees, track temperature 92, so kind of a cooler day here in Montmeló in Barcelona in Spain. 36 degree humidity and a west wind of 7 miles an hour. As our points coming into today's race, like I said, I thought I had a graphic for that. Did not have that ready. But Alex Abedi, 67 points ahead of Magnus Okenhaug with 55. Matt Kingsbury, who is not here, 44 in third spot. Josh Klog, Francois Martel. So it's a 12-point gap from Abedi to Okenhaug. Abedi had a rough first go of it, but he has been decent the last couple rounds, especially the win a couple weeks ago. Sportsman Cup, it's a 25-point lead. To put that into perspective, one race win is 25 points. Cody Crosgrove over Jamison Huffman. And the Constructors' Championship is going to change without the Last Lap Motorsports Kingsbury brothers. They have withdrawn from the NASA Rallycross Challenge, so only one car for LLM. We should see Fiesta Siesta TWR sneak into that championship, and that will probably allow Ford to extend their manufacturer's championship lead. So that's going to be super exciting to watch all evening long. So we take a look, Francois Martel, 0.85 of a second up on Robbie Larrill. I want to take a look and see lap times here, 41.239. And yes, this is practice. We're not all the way there yet. We still have a minute and a half before we get going. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe Larrill can sneak out a good lap here in the next couple of moments. He's 5/10, half a second down now. Carson McKenna has Alex Abedi with that red plate there on the graphic. Cody Crosgrove with the blue plate. Crosgrove, the Sportsman Championship leader, as I alluded to just a moment ago. So we take a look at Victor Aldrich, Robbie Larrill, Brian Sawyer, Marcos Palacio. Not too many cars on track in this split. Let's see if the session actually split down the middle. It did. So Carson McKenna, Jess Rakowski, Jake Robichaux, Justin Robichaux. Few cars on track here. We don't want to forget that our series and broadcast brought to you by Overwatch Specialty Service. The only thing more unique than your problem is our solution. For more information, check out osscenter.com. So we want to thank Rob Huffman for that, for all of the support there. Josh Klog, defending champion. Skin hasn't loaded yet with trading paints, but we know the man from Maryland, super fast. 7th quick so far, 1.28 seconds to be specific, down on the pace leader, Francois Martel. That's Justin Robichaux, 4th quickest. He showed a lot of pace in practice, actually faster than Robbie Larill. Had a conversation with him right before we went live, and he's like, there's no way that Robbie is going to be slower than me. I said, you know, it is what it is if it happens. So anything can happen in NASA Rallycross, usually does. We're going to take a look at Brian Sawyer here in car number 88, TWR Fiesta Siesta, as they are the most recent winners of the NASA Rallycross Challenge, and it poses an interesting thing that we haven't seen in quite some time, where we have a team split up into multiple teams and win. And you'd say, isn't that technically TWR that won? Yes, but it was a different sub-team. So MRT had MRT and MRT Junior years ago for scoring issues like that. So it's essentially the same thing there. As Robbie Larill on track, we're going to focus on him to see if he can sneak out a seeding round win. It was also an unbelievable stat that had a conversation with a couple of the drivers earlier. Robbie Larill has not won a race in the NASA Rallycross Challenge, and that is mind-boggling with the pace that he has in the 213. But something always goes wrong for the man from Texas/Louisiana, and certainly hoping that eventually he'll have his day in the sun in the NASA Rallycross Challenge. 3.5 minutes left to go. Brian Sawyer has taken, or set the first lap, I should say. If we sort that, Robbie Larill 41.795 to a 41.961 for Brian Sawyer. Josh Klog 42.2. So the benchmark set by Robbie Larill, and we'll have to wait and see if anyone can top that. Alex Abetti just set his 42.019, so he is slipping down the order as well. Carson McKenna just set a lap time of a 41.811. So that's an exciting lap time there. Once I get my timing, there we go. On the internal feed fixed, we should be all set to go. So Robbie's going to... This is set as his second lap, so we'll just have to wait and see. Let's actually ride on board, see if we can. Hopefully it doesn't drown me out on this 213. This ending middle sector, I'd call it, very terrifying. Walls on both sides. Street circuit with a jump. And coming to the final set of corners, Joker lap on the right. You can use your Joker to get a faster run. One tire on the asphalt at all times, exiting the Joker and crossing the start-finish line to begin a lap. Turn 1, going in reverse the Grand Prix course. Easy flat in these cars, down to turn number 2. Remember, that corner is hard in an F1 car, even harder in a rally car. Hug the curbs left side, clip the curb on the right, clip the curb on the left. If you hit it too far, you're going to be sent into the tires. Very easy on throttle application, very easy to get wheel spin, easy to throw it into that tire barrier like we've seen so many times before. Hard on the power, down back into the street circuit final sector. And those sausage curbs can either be your best friend or your worst enemy, depending on how you hit them. Alex Abetti has gone quickest at a 41.733. We're going to see here through the final corner. Can Robbie Larill sneak this pole position away? Exiting the corner, 41.314. McKenna goes fastest. No, it was Larill who went fastest over Martel by 1/100th of a second. And it's just like that NASA Rallycross can be in the top two, 1/100th difference between those two, and they should be in different heat races. But we'll see in just a couple of moments. So there's Martel in the 12 in the Volkswagen. Won a couple times in the NASA Rallycross Challenge. It was last season, closing out the season, I do believe. If I take a look here, it was Wild West and Atlanta. He did not win the last race of the season. It was Josh Klog winning the championship in style in Daytona Beach. as round 220 of the championship overall. And round 4 of the 26th season of the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge. So glad that you can join us here on the Automotive Sports Network. Half a minute left. Everyone's pretty much ran their laps, I think. Take a look at Josh Klog. It's registered as lap 4, so this one won't count. And the defending champion down in 7th. He is .78, 3/4 of a second down on Robbie Larill. Very out of place. Chris Wetz in 10th. There's Jake Robichaux in the 69. As Alex Abetti asked in the driver's chat, and yes, I will address it here, why didn't the track get a refresh for qualifying? Apparently I didn't click the button, so I apologize on that one. Heat number 1. Getting ready to go. We're going to have Robbie Larill, Alex Abetti, Josh Klog, Chris Wetz, and Jess Rakowski. So a 5-car heat race. So we might actually have only 3 heats this evening, but we'll have to wait and see what the sim does, like I said. Mostly controlled by the iracing gods. At least that's the easy way to do it. Alex Abetti. Red plate in car number 99. Robbie Larill in the 213. As we have a couple cars not popping up here. We'll try and get this fixed in just a couple moments. As we get ready for heat number 1 here in Barcelona. Green flag off the line. Larill gets a good jump down to turn 1. Abetti on his outside, rounding the corner. Klog in the middle in the 199. As we go up the hill through the first dirt hairpin. Rakowski on the inside in the 999. Once again, we'll get that fixed in a moment. On the inside of Klog. Side by side over the jump. So tricky to get right, and you can't get it right as Rakowski got kicked out wide. Beginning the first lap of the race. Rakowski turned. Looks like off the front bumper of Wetz. I'll have to double check if I can. No jokers off the start. You cannot take your joker until you complete the first lap. Otherwise, you'll get disqualified. And Robbie Larill right where he needs to be to try and sneak a race victory away. And Alex Abetti with the red plate doesn't want him to get away. Wants to make that 2 race wins in a row from your first. Larill leads. Abetti second. Klog in third. And these two have come together again. And like I mentioned, so hard, so easy to go into the tire barrier, and Chris Wetz did in the 71. As just in here, I'll have to take a look and see if Crosgrove set a lap in qualifying. Cody Crosgrove having some technical issues. He might not race this evening. His computer shut down randomly, and it will not turn on. So that is huge for the Sportsman Championship. Robbie Larill doesn't care. He's up by 1 second. It was a 1 1/4 seconds. Now it's down to 1 second, but it's stretched back up. And Josh Klog in the 199, Rakowski in the 999, Wetz in the 71. Coming across flags this time. In Barcelona. His apologies there. I'm trying to fix trading paints while this isn't working too well. The gap is stabilized. Actually, it went up. It was a second last lap, and now it is 1.5. Make it... Well, it was 1.25. Now it's 1.5. So... I don't know if Abetti is going to have this. Larill jokers in the 213. Klog already jokered. Rakowski has not. And the livery's still not fixed on Rakowski or Klog, and I'll try and fix that in just a couple moments here. So Abetti with no gap. He still has to joker in the 99. We're going to take a look from high above. Gap 3/4 of a second from Abetti to Larill. Over the jump. through the final couple of corners. He's got 2 laps to go, coming to 2 laps to go, and he jokers in the 99. Super fast and super excited to be a race winner in the NASA Rallycross Challenge. Comes out in front of Clog, so that is crucial for him. He'll at least be able to have that, but the gap is 2 seconds. So the gap, Delta, I'd say about 3 seconds this evening here in Barcelona. Robbie Larill, but down. The gap is down, I should say. Well, it was, but it ebbs and flows through the different sections of the track. And Abedi trying to hold off the defending champion Josh Clog in the 199. Interesting line over the jump there for Abedi. Took it and had the car completely sideways. So we take the white flag in heat number 1. Chris Wetz has parked it in the 71. We take a look there. Rakowski, 20 seconds off, had that issue. We're really going to be focusing on this battle. They both have jokered, and I wonder if Clog, this is going to put him to the semifinal. If he does not make it, obviously, through this heat race. And Larill coasting to a pole position here in Barcelona. Abedi will transfer, but he would be seated, depending on how many heats there are, seated on the second row of the grid. Maybe even the third row of the grid. Final corner. Robbie Larill wins heat number 1 in Barcelona ahead of Alex Abedi as Josh Clog, Rakowski, and Wetz will go to the semifinal. As, pardon the silence for just a moment while I try and fix these paint schemes here, because iRacing is just not cooperating with us. As I do apologize there. We're going to delete all of the paints in this folder, and we're going to restart trading paint super fast before we have a second heat race.
Track state stuff in it. That was an apology track state session. We'll keep it going for but yeah, you're right, Alex. That was an answer to both of them. Go ahead.
As race control, Justin Robichaux mentioning that track state issue that was had. As the paint schemes roll in, Francois Martel, Palacio, Robichaux, Aldrich, but no Cody Crosgrove. 4 cars for this heat race. We are skipping heat number 4, so we will have 3 heat races this evening. Green flag off the line. Martel down to turn number 1. Plenty of room against Palacio. Teammates by the satellite nature. Martel leads Palacio, leads Robichaux, and leads Aldrich. To the inside of Martel went Palacio, thought better of it through turn 2. Start turn 2. It's not actually turn 2. It's super confusing. No joker, remember, on the first lap of the race. To begin the first lap, Francois Martel leads by 0.8 of a second over Palacio, and already trying to gain some gap. Very wide through the corner. His teammate tries to take the fight. It clips the curb. Late on corner entry was Palacio trying to make anything happen here on the first lap. As we round the corner, very wide, exiting the dirt. Robichaux to the inside, can't make anything happen. As we take a look, rounding the dirt here in Barcelona. Victor Aldrich loves this. If anything goes wrong, he's just going to pick up the pieces and sneak into a transfer spot. As we'll ride on board Palacio. Jokering is Robichaux. That's going to put Robichaux back to 4th, but his joker's done. Gap was about 3 seconds, so this will allow him to push, and try and sneak into, potentially, the race lead. But now he's being held up by Aldrich. That's the painstaking thing. You could be super fast and then be held up by potentially a slower guy or a guy that's just not having a good day. And that's going to be hurting Robichaux. He is giving up time. The gap was about 5 seconds when he exited the joker. He gained back time. It was down to 4.3, but now it's back up. Jokering is Martel in the 12. Put Palacio to the race lead. 2.5 between the satellite teammates for Subi Squad and for Fiesta Siesta. And we haven't seen anything like that, really, since those MRT days or since the Revolution or Revolution Junior days. Robichaux still stuck behind Aldrich. He's only down 4 seconds, but he still has to find a way around. Super nice is Robichaux against Aldrich. Remember, no blue flags because he's on the lead lap, so we won't have an issue there. Well, I won't have an issue. Robichaux will. Looks like he's trying to give him a nudge there. The teammates, Martel does not joker, of course. Palacio does in the 83, so we rotate around. Aldrich jokered in the 98, so that's going to release Robichaux, but we're going to take a look from high above. And really, that hurt him a lot because Palacio already jokered, Martel already jokered. He was close to those guys, and that just proves an ill-timed joker. It could make or break your race. And now coming at 2 laps to go. He's got a lot of gap to make up. Martel cruising out front, the French-Canadian. 3.2 seconds ahead of Marcos Palacio. Now it's 4 seconds. 3.5. I would say the average about 3 3/4. And Robichaux, last lap time 42.856 for Palacio, 42.899. There was no lap time difference between those two cars. 42.143 for Martel. So we might be seeing Justin Robichaux in the feature or in the semifinal here if it does not go to plan. So we'll have 3 heat races. 2 cars will transfer out of each. We'll have the 2 semifinals. 2 cars will transfer out of each, which is crucial because that means that somebody who wins a semifinal will not get 3 bonus points. They'll only get 1. But it is the nature of the beast in NASCAR Rallycross to have a scaling field size. Not many people know about it because we did have those super big fields for years and years, or seasons and seasons, I should say. Robichaux getting close. He knows that he has to make a move in the final couple of corners if he wants to transfer through. Runs it very deep in the hairpin, late apex, but that might have hurt him more than it helped. Final couple of corners for Francois Martel, the man who has 2 wins in the NASCAR Rallycross Challenge. Very wide, squirrely exiting the corner. He wins Heat 2 ahead of Palacio. Robichaux can't make anything happen. Best of the rest, 3rd. Aldrich in 4th. As our 3rd and final heat race here in Barcelona. Helmet cam of Brian Sawyer in the 88. Jamison Huffman, Carson McKenna, Justin Ament, Jake Robichaux. 3rd and final heat race this evening. We got 5 cars getting ready to do battle. Green flag. Off the line, McKenna gets a great jump. Ament in the inside in the 12. Or in the 10, I should say. I think he's actually supposed to be the 2. I might have not audited correctly. My apologies there. Ament gets hit by Huffman in the 89. Straightens it out side by side with Sawyer over the jump. Sawyer sneaks through to the 2nd position. McKenna leads. Ament deep on the brakes. So was Huffman there in the 89. So easy to think that you can go deeper and you don't have banking to support the car in that corner. So you just typically end up pushing wide as the car... Obviously, tires on the not on the ground, certainly not a helpful thing. Sawyer, Ament, Huffman. Huffman to the inside of Ament. Ament ran it wide. Sneaking through, can't make it happen there. As we take a look from high above, the gap is 1.2 seconds. Make it 1.5 from McKenna to Sawyer. We're going to focus on these guys. Sawyer, Ament, Huffman. This is for the transfer spot here in Heat 3. Clipping the curb was Sawyer. Clipping the curb was Huffman. A mental joker for damage plan. So we'll keep an eye on him. He's the pin to the grenade. Well, he's thrown the first grenade. And we'll see what happens when the strategy begins to unravel. McKenna, 2.5 ahead of Sawyer in the 88. Huffman in the 89. Satellite teammates, remember, they made contact between them. And if they're trying to stay ahead of Ament, that's not what you want to do. And Sawyer clobbering the curbs in the Ford Fiesta. Running it wide as Huffman there. Sending it over the jump. Sawyer wants to make this. He had some issues in Knockhill where he couldn't do it. He jokers in the 88. Huffman will pass him. Sawyer into the tires. And over goes the 88. And that'll eliminate any conversation, unfortunately, for Brian Sawyer, unless something goes wrong between these guys. And it just did. As I'll be honest, I looked down to open my bottle of water, and Huffman runs it wide, and Ament through to second spot. As Carson McKenna pulling away. He still hasn't jokered, but that's a huge gap. Nearly 6 seconds, double the distance of a regular joker as we come to cross flags. As McKenna still out front by 5 seconds over Ament. Sawyer back to third. Huffman has taken his joker in the 89, and Jake Robichaux struggling in the 69. But an impressive showing so far for McKenna. I heard damage. It was Ament in the wall in the Subaru. These two battling for third, battling to the death. Huffman threw on Sawyer. Sawyer might have a broken car. He was very straight exiting that corner. Didn't even attempt to exit as we take the white flag for Carson McKenna. In car number 11 for TWR Subi Squad. Very methodical over the curves. He's going to seed third. Great grid position. Even though outside going into turn one, very tricky. And Carson McKenna, who only ran last or 2 weeks ago in Norway and didn't have the greatest race, he's going to redeem himself and win heat number 3 here in Barcelona. Justin Ament survives the chaos that Huffman and Sawyer were trying to give him. He will come home in second. And Huffman, Sawyer, and Robichaux remaining running order. What could have been for Sawyer before he hit the tires in the final corner. So we welcome everybody on the Automotive Sports Network for round 4 of the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge, as we are just finishing up heat number 3. We're getting ready to go to the semifinal. Looks like we'll have 2 semifinals. Klog, Huffman, Aldrich, and Wetz in this first race. Top 2 will transfer. Winner will get a bonus point. So we're going to hopefully see if the Trading Paints glitch is fixed for Josh Klog. And hopefully we get to see his livery. Still no. Interesting. Full disclaimer, I deleted everything after heat number 1, and it still didn't fix it, so I'm not too sure what's going on there. You won't get a penalty. It's on me. Green flag for semifinal A. Klog down to turn 1, beats Huffman to the corner. Aldrich very slow through turn number 1, very clean. And this is going to be a battle, I'd like to think, hopefully for the win. If Huffman can hold to the back bumper of Josh Klog, defending champion of the 199, but we'll just have to wait and see. So remember, we do take 2 jokers in the semifinal. or one joker. I know my own format. We're going to learn it together. Joker once. It's been a long day. Clog leads by 3/4 of a second over Huffman. 5 laps. Joker once, as I know my own format. Aldrich in third. Aldrich just hasn't looked comfortable in that Volkswagen all evening. Normally has the pace. Huffman looks like he hit the tire wall on the inside of the corner there. And Wetz in the 71. Interested to see what his strategy is. We know he normally takes the joker near the end of the race, but he just hasn't had pace like he did a couple weeks ago in Knockhill. Nobody jokers yet. Aldrich will in the 98. Wetz famously, of course, will not. We'll expect a joker near the end of the race for him, but that strategy might not even work because he's already 4 seconds behind the top 2. Huffman holding in 1.5 seconds was the highest that I saw it, down to 1.25 seconds. Of course, the lap times really aren't relevant right now. 1:10.6 to a 1:11.9. We'll see. Never mind. Huffman into the wall. And Wetz has to brake. So this is going to become a transfer spot race. At least I'd like to think that. And Clog can take a deep breath in the 199. Very wide is Huffman in the 89. Wetz in the 71. Huffman had to joker. So does Wetz. Aldrich was the only car that didn't joker. So Clog jokered too. So strategy, everybody's jokered. Aldrich pips his teammate to the inside. He lets him through. So Aldrich knows that he doesn't have the pace over Huffman. He lets him by. But now Wetz is going to be stuck just like Robichaux was earlier on, trying to get by a slower car, and Wetz into the tire barrier. So tricky to get that corner right. And I know I've said that before, but just going off, watched last couple seasons ago or last season's race earlier on, and even then, you want to flick the handbrake to get the car to rotate because the surface change is mid-corner. But ideally, the fastest way around is to get the car to rotate with the weight. But it's such a tricky thing to learn, to be able to do, that the easier way to do it is the handbrake. We're going to take a look at Clog here, see what he does in the 199, and that's how they're doing it. Handbrake on the full asphalt there is what I've noticed. Let's take a look at Huffman. No handbrake. Handbrake for Aldrich. And Wetz in the 71. And for those of you new to the NASA Rallycross Challenge, and you think, who the hell is Chris Wetz? He is one of the legends of the NASA Rallycross Challenge. 20 wins, puts him third all-time on the wins list. Always a threat several years ago in the NASCAR Racing 2003 days. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Got so close in 2012B and in 2014A. Had a family emergency in that first championship in 2012B, and then got so close in Irwindale in 2014A. In the final corner, ran it wide. Dylan Livingood passed him for that championship victory. And ever since then, never had any issues. Update for Cody Cosgrove. Some issues with his power supply. Final corner for defending champion Josh Clog in the 199. He will win semifinal A. Ahead of Jamison Huffman, who will transfer. And Victor Aldrich and Chris Wetz are out of the round of Barcelona, as they will come home in 12th and in 11th and 13th. So 5 cars are registered for this race here. Robichaux, Rakowski, Sawyer, Cosgrove, and Jake Robichaux. But I don't think he's going to be here. So Cosgrove, this opens up that championship. He's up by a race win, and Huffman's his closest competitor. Green flag. Justin Robichaux, great run on the 93 on the outside. Rakowski deep on the brakes in the 999. Can't make anything happen into the tire barrier. Into Jake Robichaux. So we have Sawyer in the 88, Robichaux in the 93. Both had issues in their heat race. Rakowski in the 999, Jake Robichaux in the 69. And we're going to see how everything will unravel. This is going to be a great battle between these two. They're pretty close on pace. As Robichaux, Sawyer, so tricky. Sawyer to the inside. He thought better of it. Meanwhile, everyone's still trying to help Cody Crosgrove diagnose his computer. Justin Robichaux still leads by 3/4 of a second. Jake Robichaux in the 69 into the tire barrier. And it's great to, even with him having issues, great to see him out every weekend. No joker from Sawyer. And the intended aspect is to not hit the tire barrier. As it looks like we had a few less cars than I thought we would. 5, 9, and 6. That's 15. We had a 16th registered. Not sure what happened there. I'll have to try and take a look. Robichaux holds the lead. Once again, the lap times are pretty irrelevant at the moment, but Sawyer pushing so hard. Not really sure why. He's got that transfer spot in hand by nearly 4 seconds. Make it 4 seconds over Jess Rakowski. Apologize for the shoddy cameras of this circuit. I didn't realize they were this bad. So, who will joker? No jokers. Okay. Maybe they're just going to formation finish home. Not sure. Rakowski and the 999 jokers. So we got fans of Jess Rakowski in the Twitch chat. Certainly trying her best. Not missing anything up front. The gap is pretty much 1 second between these two for the race lead. We're coming to 2 laps to go. And what a crucial thing for that Sportsman Championship. Huffman's on the pace, and he might tie Crosgrove. And Aldrich is close, too, if I take a look. Aldrich is 2 back from Huffman. So this might make it a 3-horse race as we go across the Atlantic to Daytona Beach in a week's time. 1 car into the wall. It's Rakowski in the 999. Trying to get that car refired. Probably hit the curb on the right-hander coming into the final section of corners. Jake Robichaux does that same thing. Justin Robichaux still out front, still holding strong over Brian Sawyer in this second semifinal. As in just a couple moments, I'm going to step away and have the sounds of some beautiful rally cars please your eardrums, as my wonderful wife has presented me with chicken noodle casserole that is sitting next to my keyboard, and I'd like to eat as I have not eaten all day. So, as a one-man show this evening, have to make some sacrifices, as, like I mentioned, do appreciate everybody joining on the Automotive Sports Network. For those of you on ASN On Demand, welcome as well. Have not forgotten about you. We're trying a new platform for the moment with Twitch. And if it does not work out, we'll be back on YouTube for ASN Live. Looks like Sawyer has gotten by. I must have completely missed it. He hasn't jokered yet. He's coming to the checkered flag, so he'll have to joker in the 88. And he does. Checkered flag for Robichaux in the 93 ahead of Sawyer. As Rakowski, Robichaux, Jake Robichaux that is, and Cody Crosgrove, the remaining running order. As I'll be back in just a couple of moments. But we'll have some onboard cameras here from Spain. as we get ready for round 4 of the 26th season of the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge here at Barcelona, round 220 of the championship overall. As I am Josh Mertz, by myself in the production truck and the commentary cube today for the Automotive Sports Network. Thank you all for joining us here on Nitro Circus, not Nitro Circus, ASN Twitch. I apologize there, as we did race here under that. As so thankful for that partnership that we had at one time with Nitro Circus. Here on ASN Live or ASN On Demand, join the conversation, hashtag ASNTVUSA, hashtag NASA Rallycross, and go check out Overwatch Specialty Service. The only thing more unique than your problem is our solution. For more information, check out OSScenter.com. 10 cars, 10 laps, 2 jokers. And this is going to be a great race. Jamison Huffman and Victor Aldrich essentially battling for the win in the Sportsman Cup. And we'll see if Robbie Lorell can make anything happen for his first victory. We get ready in Spain. Green flag in Barcelona. Off the line, Robbie Lorell gets a great jump over Martel. Down to turn number 1. We're going to take a look from high above, or at least attempt to, as we exit turn number 1. Robbie Lorell ahead of Sawyer. Betty, Martel. We had contact in the back. It was with Justin Ament and Jamison Huffman. He gets shoved out wide. Here comes Martel through on Lorell. No jokers. Lorell gets turned from one of the TWR cars. It was Martel beginning the first lap. Carson McKenna is our race leader. What could possibly go wrong? It has gone wrong for Robbie Lorell, McKenna, Martel, and Sawyer, the top 3. One car on the wall. It's Huffman. Another on the wall. It's Alex Abedi, our championship leader. At least I thought it was. Unless, where did he go? He's back in the 10th position. I'll try and find him here in just a couple moments. Everybody all over the place. McKenna holding off. One car in the back around, it sounded like. Or there was damage. It's Justin Robichaux in the 93. Huffman in the 89. Abedi off the track in the 99. At the end of the first lap, McKenna leads by 3 seconds over Josh Klog and Francois Martel. Palacio gets involved with Robbie Lorell. Robbie Lorell turning into the modern-day Chris Wetz. Super fast, but can never seal the deal, whether he has bad luck or involved in wrecks or whatever it might be. But 2 almost make it now. 3 seconds from McKenna to Klog for the race lead. We're going to take a look on the Joker rotation. Martel, Ament, Aldrich, and Sawyer. Abedi's going to come home in 12th. So I'm not sure how we ended up with that many cars. I know I fixed it, but it is what it is. Klog focusing, trying to get the race lead. McKenna took his first Joker. So that's interesting that there was 12 cars. I'm actually kind of upset at that. Can't fix it now, though. As McKenna leads ahead of Klog, ahead of Martel. Lorell, Ament, Palacio, Aldrich, and Robichaux for the remaining running order. Sawyer, Huffman, Rakowski. So only one car off, and it is Alex Abedi. No gap between these two, battling for the race lead. McKenna in the 11, jokering his Klog in the 199. Where will this put him? From high above, we take a look. 3.1 seconds off the track in the 199, and McKenna holds that lead. Francois Martel getting close. Lorell getting close. Ament getting close. As the top 5 were just under 5 seconds apart. But that's the Joker strategy. As Lorell has not taken one. Some cars have already completed their strategy. Robichaux, Sawyer, Palacio. So interesting to see there. As McKenna will Joker. Where will Klog? Klog will not. Be careful of the merge. Exiting the Joker. McKenna holds the lead. Still no delta, though. But that put Klog right back on the rear wing of car number 11. Locks it up in the hairpin there. nearly into the back of McKenna. Now, Martel jokered in the 12, the top 4 under a blanket. Larill still hasn't jokered inside. Clog on McKenna. Contact between them. Straightens him out. Side by side for the race lead for a moment. Clog sneaks to the inside. Locked up the brakes. Will lose second to Francois Martel for a moment. Powers his way on the outside. They doorbang over the jump. Through the corner. Larill says, goodbye, I'm going to take my joker. We take cross flags in Barcelona. Clog still in second. Trying to gain that advantage back and make it a second win in the season. 2 out of 4 wouldn't be too terrible, but Martel and McKenna want to prevent that. Martel wide in the corner. It's just under a second from McKenna to Clog. And as we've taken a look at the joker rotation, Clog still hasn't taken his second joker, so he might fall into the clutches of Martel in the 12. Clog jokers in the 199. Exiting in the 199. Larill the second. Third. Apologies there. But Larill has a joker left. And what could have been for Larill if we didn't have that issue on the first lap of the race. McKenna ahead of Martel. This would not classify as a 1-2 finish as they technically are different constructors, but team-wise, TWR would have a 1-2 finish. But let's take a look down the order and see everybody else's strategies done. Rakowski still has one left. Larill still has one left. We got Palacio past Ament for the 5th spot. Sawyer, Aldrich, Robichaux, Huffman, Rakowski, then one car off, it was Alex Abedi. And remember, we had that issue where we weren't supposed to have 12 cars in this feature race. Not sure how that exactly happened. I can guarantee you that I had the format changed in the beta UI. But unfortunately, iRacing being iRacing has given us a 12-car feature and a 16-car full grid. 2 seconds is the gap from McKenna to Martel. We take a look at lap times, 42.413 to a 42.842. I'll be completely straight up and say McKenna doesn't have the pace over Martel. He had the clean track from surviving turn 1 and not having to deal with cars around him. And sometimes that is equally as important as being quick. Last lap, 42.5 to a 42.8, 3/10 down. Martel's going to have a superhuman last couple of laps to take this win away from his teammate. And we might, yet again, see a first-time winner in the NASA Rallycross Challenge. Contact between Martel and Larill. Every time I look away, something happens. Martel around again in the 12. Comes out in front of Larill again. Normally I wouldn't roll it back like this. I apologize for the messy replay, but what happened here? McKenna. Martel hit the tires and got hit. That's all that she wrote. Martel way down the order. Larill jokers. Let's find our race leader because he has a 5-second lead over Josh Clog. Final couple of corners for Carson McKenna. And he is on his way. It's the first time the 11 would win since Connor Parisi so many seasons ago. And this is the first time in a long time that we had 2 consecutive first-time winners in the NASA Rallycross Challenge. But Carson McKenna, he might not have had the speed, but he's going to have the speed to win. McKenna wins in Barcelona ahead of defending champion Josh Clog. Palacio will survive the chaos and come home in 3rd. Justin Ament in 4th at the line. Martel got it at the line. I lied to you. I'll have to take a look and see what exactly happened. Scoring says Martel. Martel, Ament, Larill, Sawyer, Robichaux, Aldrich, Huffman, Rakowski, Abedi. And now Carson McKenna. You are a winner in the NASA Rallycross Challenge. So awesome to see another first-time winner. And it's in NASA fashion that anything can happen, and it usually does. And this is going to shake the points up considerably. Let me take a look. Apparently it's event name, so I apologize there. Let's fix this. NASA Rallycross of Spain. Now it's fixed, so I apologize on that one. Carson McKenna, your race winner unofficially. Clog 6 seconds down in second, and Marcos Palacio sits in third. That is your podium. And that's about all she wrote. While we have this up, we're going to take a look and see. I think that's going to give Aldrich the sportsman win. But I'll take a look and see while I have those results there to see who is who in the Sportsman Cup, as I don't think McKenna is a pro driver. Clog, Palacio, we're going to learn together here, boys and girls. Justin Ament is not a sportsman car. I don't think it's Brian Sawyer. It is not. So Victor Aldrich over Jamison Huffman for the sportsman win, and that is huge in that championship. Remember, Cody Cosgrove, not here. Well, here, but having car issues. And Alex Zabetti in 12th, taken out on the first lap. So that's about all she wrote here from the Barcelona circuit in Spain. It has been a wonderful evening here for NASA Rallycross, Overwatch Specialty Service, NASA Rallycross, as we want to thank our partners there. As remember, Overwatch Specialty Service, the only thing more unique than your problem is our solution. For more information, check out osscenter.com. We won't have a week to wait now. We're going to go over the pond to the World Center of Racing, the Daytona International Speedway, for the long configuration. And we hope to see you on the Automotive Sports Network, whether it's on the Twitch channel, ASN On Demand, whatever it may be. Keep an eye on ASN TV on Twitter, hashtag ASN TV USA and NASA Rallycross. But that's all we have from Barcelona. I am Josh Mertz. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Congratulations to Carson McKenna. We'll see you next week in Daytona. So long, everyone.